Heyo, Vanavins here, and today, today, we're going to do something different. Today, we're going to have book review, and for the first time in my channel, I have a video that does not include any drinking with my friends. So it's gonna be serious. If I can be that. Anyway, so are you still doing your New Year's resolution? I hope you are. I'm trying my best. Anyway, one of my New Year's resolution is actually to read more books. And last year, I think I actually read 10 or 11 books. At least 10 of books. Which is my highest record. Which is my highest number of books I've read. Anyway, so this year, I hope to double that. So I'm targeting 20 books or more. So yeah, so that would be at least 4 books per month. So 3 or 4 books per month. So this month I actually managed to read 3 books, and I'm going to review it. Anyway, okay, before we start, I actually write 5 things that I'm going to include in this of the review. Okay, so the first one will be about the author. So a quick review of the author. I'm not gonna bore you with that. You can search that by yourself. The second one is the history of the book, if I know any. And third one, history of the book Third one, the overview of the book. Next, comment if it's good or bad. Read. And lastly, rating. And of course, yeah. So that would be that. So I'm supposed to write a script, but I didn't have time because I'm so lazy. Anyway, so let's start. Book 1. So this is the first book. The title of this one is The Wind Up Chronicle by Haruki Murakami. So this is actually the second book that I read. That is written by Haruki Murakami. So the first time that I was introduced to this author is by my college professor in literature. I think it's a short story written by Haruki Murakami, and also in creative writing I also read another one of his short story. And this book, it's quite interesting. So let's start with its author. Haruki Murakami is he's a very famous author, and I think PewDiePie have also recommended him in his book review video, which inspired me to do this video. So second is also he is an award-winning, and I'm also planning to read another one, Kafka on the Shore, which is another book that he has written. So history of the book, it's about its introduction. It actually shows the controversies in Japan, but I'm not gonna bombard you with that information. So yeah, so the thing about this book, it's good, man. It's very good because it actually bends logic. It's great because it doesn't necessarily follow the same pattern of most novels follows, and it's very, very good. Well, it took a while for me to finish this book, but it's because I'm lazy, but not because it's actually boring. But this book is very interesting. It is a mind blown. It's like you're reading a dream. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like that. Anyway, so it's 600 pages long, and yeah. So I'm just gonna tell you the thing that interests me the most in this book is the main character, right? When we read something, a novel or a fiction, a comic, or a manga, most of the time there's something amazing about the main character in the story. What amazed me here is that the main character does not have anything amazing in him. What I love about the main character here is that he's actually so calm. Like, he's very stoic. He's not agitated that much, even though his whole world is falling apart. It's like he's so calm, he's thinking what to do, and he managed to figure things out despite him facing a lot of problems. And yeah, so I love him because he's not that handsome, he's not that smart, he does not have any dream at all. He's like stuck, but he's still interesting guy. Also, the side characters, for example, May and the Cinnamon, also very interesting. So yeah, so thank you, Sir Regan, for lending me this book. I really enjoyed reading this one. Give it 9 out of 10. Next book. So the next book that I'm going to review is 11 Minutes by Paulo Coelho. So yeah, so this book is not mine. Again, it's not mine. So this book is owned by my little sister, which she got during her 18th birthday. Anyway, so if you know Paulo Coelho, he is international best-selling author. He actually wrote The Alchemist, which I read for 2 times, which is quite inspiring, to be honest, and I also recommend you guys reading this one. So about this book, it's actually the Paulo Coelho said this book is subjected to controversy because it talks about sex. It talks about prostitutions, which is often not talked about in our society. So I think you should at least be mature enough to read this one. Okay, so yeah, so 18 above perhaps. So I don't recommend this, especially don't recommend this to if you're too young. I think readers of this book should be at least 18 or above, since it's quite, it talks about sex and it talks about prostitution and many other stuff, but it's not the main focus of this one. Yeah, so anyway, so I'm just gonna talk what I love the most. I think what I love the most about this book is how smart the main character is. So again, so the main character here, the protagonist here, is a female, is a woman, and I don't think I've read enough books that has. I think I've read only 3 books. I can remember. I've only read 3 books who have 3 female protagonists, which is Hunger Games, Jane Eyre, and this one, 11 Minutes. So I actually love this story because I think it's realistic in the sense that it shows the struggle of someone who is coming from a poor family or someone who does not have much, and about the reality of life in those people. For example, their mother being pregnant in a young age, and yeah, which happens a lot with families that has socio-economic problems. So yeah, so the main character here is Maria. She's actually smart, and I think in this book she is very empowered in a sense that she knows what she wants in life. She wants to go to other places, and she actually do something about it rather than just waiting for things to happen for her. She read books, she tried to learn another language to communicate better, and yeah, she tries to find love in despite the disappointments that she have faced in her life. And yeah, so there's also parts in this book when you can read her entries in her journal, and in that way, so you can actually feel, or at least feel what she feels inside. It's like you're part of her. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's just how I feel. Like while you're reading her journals, it is as if you're inside her head, which is the point. I think that's the point of the Paulo Coelho, for us to be more immersed in the book. Yeah, so I don't have much to say with this book, but I like how it tackles woman sexuality and how it tackles prostitution. Yeah, so I'm gonna give this book 6 out of 10. Book number 3. So this book is actually Meditation by Marcus Aurelius, and this actually is my favorite book right now. It helped me a lot, especially handling my stress and how to be a better man. So I love this book. I really love this book. So just a quick story. So I bought this book because of PewDiePie. So there's actually a video, you can watch it. I'll put the link in the description below about PewDiePie's video, How to Be Happy and in that video I discussed Meditation by Marcus Aurelius, and I was intrigued because it's a really good video, and I love the way he explained things. So because of that, I bought this book. But yeah, so it's Meditation by Marcus Aurelius, translated by Gregory Hayes, but it's actually different. PewDiePie read the different version of this one, so it's not the same. I don't know what version he read or who translated the book that he read, but I think it's pretty much the same. So this book is actually Thoughts by Marcus Aurelius. Let's talk about Marcus Aurelius first. So Marcus Aurelius is one of the 4 good emperors of Rome, diba? So he's actually well known. There's a lot of videos out there talking about him and how. So this book is actually, I don't consider it. I think it's a let's just say it's a self-help book, because it teaches us how to manage our thought, how to be more stoic, which it tackles. This book is about stoicism, which I'm trying to apply in my life, but it's quite difficult, that's for sure. And yeah, so basically Marcus Aurelius lived a stressful life because of him being the emperor, and to deal with the stress, he actually writes his thoughts. This book is actually quite short, and it includes a lot of introduction. So I think the introduction is more than 30 pages 30 or 20 pages, which is quite a lot. And it tackles about the life of Marcus Aurelius himself. And this book is actually his book is the compilation of his journal. So it is divided into 12 books, which contains his thoughts, the thoughts that he have written in his life. So I think this can be considered as a self-help book. But the thing is, what differs this one with other self-help books which I tried to read? I think I tried to read one and I didn't like it at all. I think what differs this one is it's not imposing, because it's actually Marcus Aurelius just talking to himself in a way of writing a journal. He reminds himself what to do, what shouldn't do, what he shouldn't do, and a lot more. And it's quite inspiring that he is very calm, he is very stoic, and he is very logical, despite of having the highest position in the world in that time. And I think he's a very inspiring person. That's why I promised to read this one once a year. Yeah, so he believes in this one. So I can actually make another video about this book, that it is that good. He believes in the nature of the world. He believes that our nature is to help one another, to be kind to one another, and he believes in logic. Strongly believes in nature and logic, which I won't discuss it to you guys so that you can figure it out to yourself. He believes that if we don't go with the flow of the nature, then we are being a delinquent to it. If we're being delinquent to it, then it will only cause us unhappiness. He also talks about how we shouldn't care much about how people think about us, because we should focus more on what we think about ourselves and our actions, and we should always reflect with our actions, because it shows our character. And for him, character is the most important thing a man or woman should have. Tackles a lot of topic. For example, I'm gonna read from book number 11 here, excerpt here. If you don't have a consistent goal in life, you can't live it in a consistent way. Making sense, right? And he's not imposing you to do this. He's just telling you what he thinks. There's also him saying how we should be patient with other people. If people did something wrong to you, then you shouldn't do the same by being rushed. You should always be logical and rational and try to correct them. And if they don't correct themselves when you try to help them, then it's not your fault anymore. It's theirs. And so we always have to be patient and stoic. So I really love this book because it actually helped me a lot, especially with stress and how to be better man, which I'm always trying despite me failing a lot. And so if you want to be a better person, I think you should read this one. I mean, there's a lot of things here that I don't agree with, which will happen. There will be no book that you will agree all the time. Like, okay, I agree with everything in this book, I'm gonna live. Of course, there are things that are not applicable in our lives that is stated in this book. For example, Marcus Aurelius says that passion is not a great thing. That if we don't have passion, then we are free of pain, or we are more solid. But for me, that's not the case. I love being passionate about things, about doing things that I love. And I can talk a lot about this video, but I don't want to spoil anyone just reviewing this one. I give this book 10 out of 10. So if you want to be a book review, is going to be released this February. And I'm already starting. I already ordered 12 Rules for Life. So I'm excited to receive that book and to read it. And also I'm already reading a classic. This book is Frank Norris McTeague. It's a Penguin classic. I found this one for 35 pesos in Imol, in bookshop in Imol. So I hope that you enjoyed. So actually I'm doing this for myself, but if you enjoyed it, then good for you guys. Anyway, so that would be that. Manavins out. Peace.